We are in violation of our joint playing agreement.
On that note, I want to let our attorney speak because she had asked that she address certain issues here.
Well, I'm speaking primarily for the city attorney. The city attorney, as you all know, is double board certified. He's double board certified because he's board certified in city, county, and local government law. And he's also certified, board certified, as far as business law. In addition to Andy being double board certified, I am double board certified. I am board certified in city, county, and local government law. I am board certified in state, federal government, and administrative practice. Pete Sweeney is double board certified. He's board certified in city, county, and local government law, and he's also board certified in construction law. We have an additional attorney who is board certified. Our city attorney's office is amongst the most distinguished law office in the state of Florida. We appreciate your concerns, but we do caution you about making decisions as far as what should be enforced when you all have not actually been briefed upon these issues. And we would also caution you as far as making statements or even asking us, because if you can recall, it wasn't long ago. Scott Knox was put in that position where he had to opine about whether a charter provision was constitutional or not. Later, they were sued, and instead of having their attorney represent them, they had to get outside counsel. Discussions about whether the city should instigate litigation, whether contracts should be enforceable, what our legal remedies are decisions that should be handled in private briefings. And once we decide that that we should pursue litigation, we then have an executive session. But having these discussions out in the open when you have not been briefed and are not well versed in what the law is detrimental to our legal interests. And we would ask that Mr. Lannon is available night and day, and a number of you have taken advantage of that. It just so happens that this was brought up, placed on the agenda Friday, and he's out, and he has been out this week. But he has firmly committed that he is willing to meet with each and every one of you. And he will discuss whatever the issues and will answer any and all questions that you may have. But we do implore you not to have this conversation in public.
Now I'm going to add the chair here. That's why I wanted our deputy city attorney to speak. And now I'm going to interject. I'm a person that I don't try to become emotional on things. So I know a lot of the stuff in this memo mentioned me and mentioned some people that I have great respect for. So when it comes to former employees, and I know their integrity. So because I have to keep my emotion in check, I'm going to keep myself quiet because my city attorney has spoken, but I'll wait because like everybody tends to say, I will have my due process in court, in the court of public. But I'll wait until I speak to the city attorney because I don't want to put the city in any binding situation. I just know that certain things are not what they seem. Let's put it that way. But I'll take it from there. Next council person.
Mayor.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I hadn't finished my questioning, but go ahead. Okay.
I interrupted.
No. Okay. Let me ask you this question. It's a very simple question.
Who are you asking?
I'm sorry. This would be for legal. 183.01 comprehensive plan, vested rights. Does it or does it not state that development that has received preliminary plat approval, preliminary subdivision approval, or preliminary PUD approval, provided that the development has secured a permit to construct all or any phase of such development and is continuing the development in good faith, would that give vested rights to someone who has a preliminary PUD?
Deputy Mayor, as I stated before, it is our position that we will not make any legal opinions at this time.
Okay. Let me ask you.
Mr. Landon will be more than happy to meet with you, and we'll discuss that issue with you to your satisfaction.
Well, let me
at this time, we will not spontaneously on the dais make any legal conclusions.
These are simple questions that aren't specific to any application. This is a simple interpretation of law. If you can't give that answer, I'm concerned about that because it doesn't apply to any specific application. I was asking a question, very, very simple, on the interpretation of our ordinance. My next question is, if you had these concerns that you do not want us to deliberate tonight on this item, did you reach out to me or other members of the council prior to us having this agenda item tonight so that we could be briefed? For example, I was at City Hall today for my briefings. Did you reach out to brief me on this?
As I stated previously, the briefings as far as this legal issue has been handled by Mr. Landon from beginning and will continue to be handled towards the end. Mr. Landon, as you are aware, on a pre-approved trip, is not in town. These briefings will be conducted by Mr. Landon. He was not here, and he did not have the benefit of knowing prior to his trip that these conversations would occur. However, he is available and will have a briefing with any and all council members individually about these concerns. And as far as your concerns, sir, I am a recognized expert by the Florida Bar. I am quite capable of answering these questions, but this is not the appropriate time. And under direction of the city attorney, I will not issue any legal opinions at this time, but he will be more than happy to issue any legal opinion or answer any questions that you may have.
I'm sorry, and you do have great credentials, by the way, but you expressed that at the direction of the city attorney. Is that what you stated?
Yes, sir.
Do you work for the city attorney or the city council? The charter is very clear that assistant city attorneys work at the pleasure of the city council. Is that correct?
No, sir.
That's not what the charter says?
Oh.
Okay, I'll pull up the charter. I'll wait.
Remember,
the
charter has 3 officers that we are in charge of. That would be the city manager, city clerk, and the city attorney. Those are the ones that are responsible to answering. In regards to their subordinates, they answer directly to their boss. Now, let me ask you a direct question then, since you're putting the city attorney on the spot. When you drafted this memo, did you show it to the city attorney in order to get legal opinion?
I submitted the memorandum to the city clerk and asked her to distribute to those all appropriate contacts, which usually includes everyone, including...
My question is, and it's yes or no, did you yourself contact the city attorney and get an opinion on your memo? That's a yes or no. Did you contact the city attorney's office?
I went through my city clerk.
No. That is a direct question, yes or no. Did you contact the city attorney's office? Because now you're putting the deputy city attorney on the spot, questioning her in her leadership. So now, as mayor, I have to question you because I'm not going to allow you to do that to her. Now, my question again to you, Deputy Mayor, did you call the city attorney's office when you drafted the memo and asked for his opinion? Yes or no?
Are you getting emotional, Mayor?
Yes, I am, because you are attacking a professional on the dais. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And now you won't answer a simple yes or no?
I did not send it directly to the city attorney.
So that means that you didn't ask his opinion.
Have you asked his opinion on other matters in the past when you've crafted these memos?
Can you give me a copy of the charter, please? Clerk, if you could please give me a copy of the
Mayor,
charter.
I'd be curious if the deputy mayor's normal protocol was to CC the city attorney on these items. Because I think it was willfully.
Can I say something just real quick, just to clear the record up for myself?
Go ahead.
I was impressed by their presentation. I was also impressed by Mr. Machado's property when I visited Rolling Meadows. I was impressed by Jim Santori's property, and I stated publicly at that meeting that I didn't think the highway should cut through the potato farm or through Mr. Machado's thing. So I think I've treated everybody pretty equally here. I just wanted to put that out, and the only reason I said that to be on public record is so that it was on public record and we can hold people accountable. That's the only comments I'll make.
Okay. So with that, I guess what I'm trying to get to here, we have been given instruction by the city attorney's office. Anything else we do from here is not very intelligent. But counsel,
I want. It's not going to be on any legal matters, but I do have a question, or do want to make a statement and clarification. Mr. Machado and the representatives from Rolling Meadows felt that turning over a preliminary PUD to a final PUD in a 30-day time frame is quite ridiculous, was their statement up here. They actually turned it over back-to-back meetings. So if you go back to the record, Mr. Machado, your property, or his property, Mayor, excuse me, address the chair.
Yes, don't address him directly.
But Mayor, if anybody in the public goes back to the public record in 2014 minutes, which is, they can request a copy of, and August 21st, the preliminary was passed, and it was September 4th, not even 30 days later, the final was passed. So it doesn't lend a lot of credibility to me to attack D.R. Holton, one of the biggest builders we have in the city of Palm Bay, who I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to have everybody who's trying to develop down around the interchange. And I think they are all committed. They understand that investing and the infrastructure was important. I believe that they all did make a effort. I'm only second party, but from what I've heard from staff and others, it's my opinion that they did make an effort to actually try to take over and build the road in a more efficient manner than what we are. Instead, we're paying $9 million for something that could have been $6 million. And we could have even limited our $9 million less than that if we had went with the bid protest with Junior Davis Construction. So there's places where we could have looked out for the taxpayer. I think we've let those slip through our hands. And so I think that a lot of what's before us on this item does rest back. Mr. Link, let me ask you this question. It's not legal. Do you need to be told to enforce contracts for the city?
Do I need to be told to enforce contracts by the city?
Yeah. Do you need that direction from us?
If there's a contract in place, I enforce it.
Oh, there you go. Was there any contracts for you to enforce?
Concerning
the items that...
what contract are you talking about?
Are there any contracts that are outstanding for you to enforce regarding this interchange in developers?
Are there any contracts between developers? We're negotiating utility developer agreements as we speak, so I can't...
So you're already doing what this item's asked for, correct?
I'm negotiating contracts with developers specifically for,
to hold them accountable, and they're going to be giving certain portions...
and I hope that they would hold me accountable as well.
Okay, so there we go. Miss Smith, by the way, I just want to say that I know that your ethics and that your credibility is above anybody that's sitting up here. I don't think there's anybody else up here who's more prepared to do their job than what you are right now. That's my opinion. Let me ask you, Miss Smith. I apologize. I'm being interrupted.
He was asking me a question.
Miss Smith,
go ahead.
Does the city attorney's office need to have direction to protect us legally?
No, so we regularly work with the city manager. We review issues as they come up, and we take appropriate action. If we need further direction for council, the city attorney is very communicative as far as getting with council and bringing matters before council to the extent that we need authorization.
Well, Mayor, I just want to thank you, Ms. Smith, and I just want to finish. We had the deputy mayor push forward a civility clause last year, and to see him get so heated with the response from Ms. Smith and from her boss, Mr. Landon, in regards to how they want to handle this item in the best interest of the city and the board, And then to start, I think you need to be careful with your lips. That's all I got to say.
Mayor, if I may.
I had a follow-up on the charter.
Hold on 1 second, please. The city manager wants to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to set the record straight on a couple of things, and this conversation seems to be going all over the place. So I was a bit surprised when I heard Mr. Wise talk about me being the one who determined that this road is a city road, because I met with him this week and told him about the resolution from 2013. So to hear it again, I was a little surprised because that decision was made about 5 years ago. And yes, we did have discussions with D.R. Holton and other developers as well about building the road. The discussions, they came to sort of a stalemate because we couldn't come up to it with an agreement. And to build the road to federal standards and to be eligible for funding, that's so when you hear folks saying, oh, we could have saved $3 million. Well, yeah, if it was a basic city road, yes. And then we wouldn't be eligible for other funding, and then the entire cost would be on the back of the city and the taxpayers. We're trying to make this road eligible for state and federal funding. And that's why the road is costing a little bit more. And I don't think anybody can dispute that. So if you want facts, call me.
Mayor, if I may, I know Deputy Mayor Holton, you had a follow-up. I'll just, give
me a minute.
I want to sort of go on, but I'll just say what I have to say now, and then I'll kick it back to you. That's one of the things I wanted to bring up, and that is the fact that yes, they did want to do a road, but it wasn't up to standard, and so therefore, if we would have let them do that, we wouldn't have been eligible for for federal funding later on. Right. So it was again, it was one of those things. Let us do it. You won't get any benefit later, or just go ahead and do it yourself the way you want. That was pretty much it. I will say this, and I understand the going back and forth, and I also understand legal's perspective, and I didn't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't think that there was an attack on the personal ethics of our deputy city attorney or the city attorney's office. That to me doesn't even make sense. I don't think Deputy Mayor Holton was saying that. I don't think anyone else here was saying that. But with that being said, even if Deputy Mayor Holton did not go through the city attorney's office, I still got to ask the question: why didn't anyone from the city attorney's office, knowing that this was on the agenda, did not at least reach out to Deputy Mayor Holton and said, "Look, you got this on the agenda. I'd like to talk to you about this and see what's going on." Did that happen, Deputy Mayor Holton?
No, it did not.
Okay, so and I understand, I get it. Deputy Mayor Holton has been on council for quite some time. He should have went through the deputy city attorney's office. I get it, or the city attorney's office. I'm sorry, I keep saying deputy city attorney's office because you're here. But with that being said, there were times when I was going to do things, brought it forward, it was found out. Members of staff came back to me and say, "By the way, before you do that, I think you should know this," and then I pulled back. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Deputy Mayor Holton, but this did come out on the very date when it was supposed to come out on Friday.
And if I may, I also didn't include Parks and Recreation. I didn't send it to them. I didn't send it to Public Works. I sent it to my clerk, which is what we do as council members. When we want to add an agenda item, we don't send it to every single department. We send it to our clerk, and we ask the clerk to distribute the information to the appropriate people, and I have a record of that. So this bantering is politics. Let me say this. I'm very concerned about I'm very concerned about what transpired a little while ago with the assistant city attorney, because I asked a very simple question based on the charter. The charter is like the Constitution, all right? It's like our Constitution. Let me read it to you, because I asked a very simple question, and I was told that she does not work at the pleasure of the council. Let me read to you what the charter says. Section 3.11, City Attorney. Section 3.111, Appointment or Employment. The City Council shall appoint or employ a City Attorney and, not or, and such assistant attorneys as required to act as legal advisors to the Council and officials of the City as designated in 3.113B, and serve at the pleasure of the council. It's right there. It's in her charter. It's like our Constitution, and the city attorney couldn't even get that right. The assistant city attorney couldn't get the very simple question of who you work for. To whom do you serve? That's amazing to me. It's very clear.
But you don't call that an attack?
I don't call that an attack. I call it a question into the competency of the person who's not answering my question, which is for another time.
Please don't speak out. Don't speak out, because
Mayor, with all due respect, if I may just interject again, this just went off to left field. We were talking about enforcing a contract, and now we're talking about whether or not we're attacking staff members, whether or not we're doing this or that or the other. I think this is very plain and simple.
Right.
I think what taxpayers want to know is very simple. Are we going to hold developers accountable? And I think that is what Deputy Mayor Holton has brought forward, and it's very simple.
It's not as simple as that, Councilman.
No, I do understand. No, I do understand. Yes, Deputy City Attorney said, "Look, these are matters that I think should be done behind closed doors and behind sessions because they can lead to other things." I understand that, but again, we're going off on tangents that really is not germane to this.
Yes, but it does, Councilman, because the thing is, once our city attorney's office is given an opinion, a legal opinion that says, stand fast, council, because you may be taking us to a no man's land, and if we continue to get an answer from her and she knows that she can't answer because those are her instructions to us, then we have to respect that. And I think that you can't please two people on this dais, okay? I know the argument that you're trying to make for the deputy mayor, but again, the deputy mayor had the opportunity to sit with the city attorney's office and address the issue. And I know he had a chance to. It didn't transpire. But I'm trying to limit my words because I don't want to become emotional. So I think the best thing here is that we take a vote, and whichever way this goes, we let this sleep. Because I think that the envelope continues to be pushed and continues to be pushed, okay? And there's legal ramifications to this, to the city, okay? To the city. So on that note...
Mayor, by point of order, the motion is ambiguous. What contracts are we going to enforce? I think that needs to be labeled out clearly. What is it we're talking about, at least in past? We already had the city manager state that he's taking care of those that are present, and you can only presume that his job and obligation is those in the future. So what past contracts is the deputy mayor asking us to vote on enforcing?
That's the question.
Well, that would be almost as difficult to answer as to what chapters are in said contracts. I don't know every contract that exists or doesn't exist. That's the point of the motion. The point of the motion is whether agreements were made, what were those agreements, Were some of the agreements oral or written? What is enforceable? Because the bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. The taxpayers right now are on the hook for tens of millions of dollars, and the developers are going to make tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. And we're up here arguing, and I can't get a simple answer from my city attorney. Those are the facts. The motion was very clear. Motion to enforce past or current agreements as well as to adopt policies related to documenting promises by developers regarding the Southern Interchange, St. John's Heritage Parkway to include but not limited to donation of PD&E study, design, right-of-way, and or construction costs.
But why would our staff not already be doing that?
At the end of the day,
this is like making a motion to bereave you, Mayor. I'm sorry. No, there's still no clarification of what contract he says he's protecting the people. Based on what? We've already went through the process.
I'm not going to debate with you.
We're not going to argue back and forth on this. That's a motion. That's a motion.
But I still have another comment up here, please.
Okay.
Ms. Lisa's bringing up a map. Can you zoom in at the bottom part where there's a red segment? I apologize. Did I send you the right one? Is that page 7? Okay, so if you see here, this is the resolution 2013 we're talking about. FDOT, the Florida Department of Transportation, had asked the city to enter into an agreement where we would certify or essentially be the guarantor that red portion would be built. Now, our staff today, our city manager sits here today and claims that that's when we took over funding of the parkway for that segment. Can you please go to the legend of this map, Ms. Mora? It's the bottom left. Look for what's in the red. Private sector. It did not leave the private sector's responsibility that day. It has left since Mr. Link was here.
That's a lie.
No,
that's a lie.
Mr. Link is the one that just sat here.
Speak.
And Mr. Link's the one who just sat here and said, well, the reason we did it is because it wasn't up to high enough specifications so we can get state and federal funding. I'm sorry.
I'll let you.
Talking about being insubordinate.
Let him speak.
Mr. Link, why don't you scoot forward and get this grin off your face?
Councilman Bailey, there's no need to be disrespectful.
Why don't you? No, I'm sorry. You're sitting right there next to Mr. Link.
Council.
Yes, I am. So what does that mean?
Why don't you correct them?
Council.
What does that mean to you then?
Council.
We call the question.
Bottom line is that 2013. Can I say my point, please?
Finish.
2013. What does that say? Mayor, can you read it for me? Make sure everybody can read that. What's the red line say?
Private sector.
Private sector. It did not leave the city simply had to make an obligation that they will oversee that's going to get done with the developers. It's not a private road. It's a public road. The developers were still working towards it. It didn't stop in 2013. So I don't think the public needs to know that, Mayor. Thank you.
No, I totally understand. But the thing is that legal is telling you to stand fast. That's why I'm trying to stand here and say, I'm not going to get emotional about this. I want to make a decision. We could table this and let it go and let legal, because I think the best choice to do here instead of voting on this is to table it and allow legal to talk to us, because I think that there's a lot of omissions here that need to go forth, but we can't get into those discussions because it would open up a door that we cannot close.
Mayor, I think I'm going to get you somewhere you want to go. Okay? I really, truly wanted my question answered about vested rights, because my concern is that if we don't act quickly, that the taxpayers could really, truly be on the hook here. But in lieu of not being able to get that simple question answered, and out of respect for you, Mayor, and out of respect for the city attorney's office, because historically I've had a very good relationship with them and they are experts, I will withdraw my motion and table this item.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number...
All those opposed, Mayor.
No? All those opposed?
And are we going to table it?
It's tabled.
We're going to table it to a specific date?
let's talk with the city attorney's office, then we'll decide.
I say no. I think we should have killed it.
But we'll deal with that when it comes.